DJ Uiagalelei obviously withstood a ton of criticism. Much of it was due to his poor play, but certainly the complementary pieces around him didn't live up to the expectations and play up to the expectations of his predecessors. Offensive line, the running back room has been really good for a few years, certainly. But the wide receivers, when I watch Clemson football over the last 2 to 3 seasons versus what I saw with Mike Williams and Martavis Bryant and DeAndre Hopkins, and we could sit here for, it was arguably the best wide receiver room in the country for almost 10 years. And not seeing guys be as physical, not high pointing the football, not just consistently catching the football as well, and doing all those things that we expect out of elite wide receivers. Doesn't seem as though the recruiting had dropped off, but development or just some misses in recruiting, I guess.
Yeah, that's hard to. I mean, I agree with you that there's been a drop off. There's no doubt about it. Just look at the statistics, and but you watch NFL games on Sundays, and T. Higgins is a 1,000-yard receiver. Mike Williams has had a terrific year. New Hopkins has missed a lot of times this year. Just 2 weeks ago, Sammy Watkins is in his 10th year, but he had a 40-yard catch early in the game against Baltimore. Ray McLeod had a big game for San Francisco. All those guys were terrific reasons that Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence were terrific at Clemson. I think you're right. We don't have a guy who can go up and get those 50-50 balls. With Higgins and Mike Williams, 50-50 balls were 80-20 balls. And we just hadn't seen a lot of that in the last couple of years. Now, 3 years ago, 2020 season, when we had Trevor and you had Amari Rogers and Cornell Powell, you had two pros there, and obviously the passing game was outstanding, one of the top 10 in the country. So it's been the last 2 years, and certainly there needs to be some improvements. Now, some of the guys who recruited have been highly regarded coming in. And some of them are just, young. Williams, our leading receiver this year, was a true freshman. We got a guy named Randall who is very highly regarded coming in. He was coming off a torn ACL that, he just, physically couldn't get pushed, couldn't get off the line of scrimmage as well. I hopefully compare it to 2010. The 2010 season, Clemson was 6-7, only losing season under Dabo Sweeney. And I remember reflecting on that passing game. And we had a freshman named New Hopkins. We had a kid named Jerron Brown, who was a sophomore who went on to play 7 years in the NFL. And our tight end was Dwayne Allen, who later on would be the John Mackey Award winner. But in 2010, our passing game just really wasn't good, and we said we didn't have any receivers. Well, now we look back at those young guys. All three of them went on to play at least 7 years in the NFL. So guys can get better, guys can develop, and hopefully that's going to be the case going forward.